Hey, how's it going everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a deck profile for the Zoo Tri-Brigade, now a very popular deck currently in the format. Now I know the best deck in the format is slowly becoming the Drytron deck because that deck is pretty crazy. Last week at Locals a lot of people were trying it out, and man, if it gets going, that deck is crazy, but this deck still I think is one of the top contenders. So yeah. This isn't your very cookie cutter build. I put in some text that I preferred over other cards, so go ahead and let me know what you guys think of the build. But yeah, let's go and get right into the profile, and before I do that, I want to ask you if you're new to subscribe. I very much appreciated. Well, let's go and get right into it. The Zoo Brigade, or the Tri-Brigade engine is going to be pretty standard, and so is the Zoo engine. First off, 3 fractal. This gets your plays going. You can discard this to send one of the Tri-types to the graveyard. And then all Tri-Brigade monsters have the same effect where if they're on the field, you can banish any number of the Tri-type cards in your graveyard, then special summon a Tri-type link using them as materials, of course. And then for the rest of the turn, you can only use Tri-types to link. So keep that in mind if you are trying to build the deck. 3 of the kit. This one, when it sends to the graveyard, you get to send another Tri-Brigade monster. Then Nerval, this one adds you your Tri-Brigade cards, or your monsters, and then you got Karaz, which lets you discard any of the Tri-types to special summon it from the hand, which can be very helpful getting rid of dead cards in hand. Maybe you draw too many Zoo monsters or something like that. That's an easy free special summon, and then it gets you even more advantage if you discard one of the Tri-Brigade monsters, so you can set up your graveyard and everything like that. Then a tech I'm trying out, which you usually only see in the pure builds, or at least that's what I was seeing, and that is a Rescue Cat. Now, Rescue Cat is pretty nutty. If it goes off, it is incredibly strong. It lets you special summon 2 level 3 or lower beast type monsters from your deck, which is your Kuros and your Kit, so you just get more advantage that way. So pretty strong. I actually like it. And then for some hand traps, 3 Ash Blossom. Now this is a very important card to have if you're playing any sort of deck. It really just helps slow other decks down. So if you have a chance to grab them, go ahead and do it. If you don't already have them, just an incredibly strong card. Next, 2 Effect Veiler. Now this card is pretty underrated, but honestly I would consider taking it out for 3 Drone Lockbirds, just because I think that's going to hurt a lot of the meta decks. Rather than Effect Veiler, but still a pretty good card. Helps you negate a monster effect. Very strong. For the small Zoo lineup, of course, the 1 Whiptail, 1 Ram, which I really want to bump up to 2, and 1 Rat Pierre to get your Zoo plays going. Then 3 Fire Formation Tenki, of course, searches out your Zoo monsters or your Fractal. Very strong. 2 Pot of Desires for that draw power. It's always nice to get those extra cards. Maybe it's drawn to some traps, because this deck does run a pretty good trap lineup. For the last spells, Zoodiac Barrage, very strong card. And then 1 Called by the Grave, still very strong. Then a card that I chose over like the usual traps that I ran in the Tri-Brigade Zoo, and that is 3 Solemn Judgment over 3 Strike, just because I think it's very strong to be able to negate anything, besides, you know, of course, cards that cannot be responded to, such as Dark Road No More, I believe, and Super Poly. But paying half the life points is a pretty high cost, so that's most likely why everybody's running Strike over Judgment. But I'm going to go ahead and try it out just to see how it works. And then, of course, 3 Infinite Impermanence, another very strong card. It has been a strong card for quite some time. Being able to negate a monster effect for basically free if you don't control any cards. You can activate it from your hand and it negates that monster's effect. Is very strong. And then of course if you are able to set it, you'll be able to negate that monster effect and negate that column for the rest of the turn. So it can be very helpful. Then 3 Crackdown. I know a lot of people run 3 Torrential Tribute, but I think Crackdown is a very strong option. I do like Torrential Tribute, which I might switch out. Definitely put it in the side for sure. But Crackdown, being able to still a monster and interrupt your opponent that much more, can be very, very strong. and then 2 of the Revolt. Now I see a lot of builds playing 3, which I don't think is super necessary anymore because of the new Tri-Brigade monster we got in the current set. But you know, that might change over the course of playtesting, of course. Off to the extra deck really quick. The Zoodiac engine with Trident, Chaka 9, Tiger Mortar, and the Borbo. And of course, to slap down on top of all that is the Zeus, a very strong card. I'm not too sure if this is in danger of getting hit. I'm pretty sure it might later down the road, and if it does like early on, that's going to be unfortunate. But this is a very strong card. That's why it demands such a high price, of course. But you know, being able to send everything to the graveyard is incredibly strong. For the links, the Almirage, just to get your kit and Nerval to the graveyard if you have to normal summon them. 1 of the Dragon Lords, being able to bounce back your opponent's cards to get another form of interruption is very strong. 2 of the Baron Blossom, very strong. Being able to get a special summon of a Tri-Brigade monster can be very helpful. And then when sent to the graveyard, you get to draw a card and replace a card to the bottom of the deck, so it can help you get rid of a brick. Then, of course, the new card, the Rampager. This lets you search out your trap when it gets sent to the graveyard. Then, of course, the 1 Silver Sheller, 1 Apollosa, 2 of the Omen, a very strong card for the deck. Probably the best Tri-Brigade link. Being able to get a non-target banish is very strong. And then if you have the Exco Talker, I believe it is, definitely run that over the Boral Sword. But I only have the Boral Sword right now, so that's why I put it in. But yeah, go ahead and let me know what you guys think of the build. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.